Hi everyone, thank you for getting here on time. And today we're here to discuss issue 3, which is regarding politics. So without further ado, I will start to discuss generally about what issue 3 is all about, as well as the main issues faced by industrial relations under issue 3, which are social democracy, neoliberal, and authoritarian, to give some overview or insight for all of us here, as well as to our viewer or listener. After that, I will let Ms. Lydia, Ms. Christine, and Ms. Nurul to take the floor to discuss more specifically about each of the issues and recommendations on how to cope with it. So, industrial relations can be defined as the interactions and relationships that exist in the workplace, particularly between labor and management, as a result of the shared attitudes and approach to managing the industry affairs. For the benefit of not only management and workers, but the industry and the economy as a whole. There is no doubt that national industrial relations system continue to differ greatly. The international union movement encounters three types of industrial relations in the international environment, which are social democracy, neoliberalism, and authoritarianism. The differences in national industrial relations system are mirrored in the structure, power, and status of individual system actors. By looking at social democracy meaning in the broader sense, it is the use of gradual and democratic rather than revolutionary, which refers to developing a more egalitarian society, and it is thus the ideology connected with the socialist and labor parties that emerged as political competitors in advanced industrialized democracies during the 20th century. Social democrats moved from believing the collective ownership of capital was required to maintain a just society to arguing that cooperative bargaining, an activist state expenditure, and progressive taxation can indeed substantially decrease existing inequalities and pluralized democratic decision making, or in simple way, social democracy recommends the use of democratic collective action to extend democratic ideals of freedom and equality cherished in the political realism to the management of the economy and society, primarily through resisting the injustice and oppression caused by laissez-faire capitalism. But under social democracy too may cause the government to be ineffective, therefore to view political market failures as a concern to work around is essential to solve the issue. Meanwhile, neoliberalism indicates a policy approach that combines politics and economics with the goal of shifting economic power from the government to the private sector. Many neoliberal policies aim to improve the functioning of free market capitalism by limiting government spending, regulations, and ownership. However, it also may lead to some issues like monopolies, leading to income disparity among individuals, in which the government can nationalize the enterprises to cope with monopolies issue. And globalization happening too, where an effective leader is required to lead the nation and society resilient, especially in today's world, where a rapid change happens that involve a lot of uncertainty. Whereas authoritarianism is more about forcing or demanding people to follow rules or laws, which in another word restricting personal freedom. In this scenario, issues in industry relations may arise such as impede a society's progress by limiting individuals' power to effect the directions of the country, as well as creating a rebellion society due to workers regard authoritarian business executives as controlling, domineering, and micromanagers. Therefore, to overcome the issues, the government should be transparent about the terms and conditions of policy changes which are responding to contemporary challenges and global trends. I think that's all from me. Therefore, Ms. Lydia, can you tell more about the issues of social democracy, specifically as well as the recommendations too? Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anna. So I'm going to talk about the social democracy, where it may cause government failure in that country. In an ideal world, labor market regulations such as high minimum wages or a maximum working week, for example, may result in unemployment and a lack of flexibility that firms require to deal with a sudden increase in demand. Firms that are overly regulated incur an additional cost, which may discourage investment and lead to lower economic growth. On the other hand, the purchaser is becoming more and more dumbfounded by their emotionally immature influence, and thus increasingly unable to recognize the heart-winking spectacle that prevents them from seeing the destructive of arc of agendas and medicates them from caring about that destruction even when they see it through the carefully orchestrated deception for a fleeting instant. Other than that, workers are forced to rely on the leader for all feedback, instructions, and job responsibilities. If they are faced with a decision at work, they are almost forced to seek advice from the leader rather than making the decision on their own. That makes it nearly impossible for leaders to leave the workplace because workers can become so reliant on their decision-making abilities that nothing gets done if the leader is not present for whatever reason. So I will talk about the recommendation where or the action that can be taken in order to overcome the social democracy issue, where is to view political market failures as a constraint to be worked around because different countries have different economic, political, legal, cultural, and many more. For example, salary subsidies to young people are being tested as a strategy to boost employment without breaking labor standards or any negotiated salaries. They are not always effective like an attempt to reduce healthcare work abs- absenteeism by installing time-dead stamp machine to record attendance fell when all of the patients were vandalized the night before the program was to begin. Last but not least, an approach is to use non-partisan initiative to directly address the causes of political market failure. For example, if the issue is voter ignorance, the voters don't realize how government inaction or corruption affect their daily lives. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the splendid explanations given by Miss Lydia, and it's really helped us to enhance our knowledge regarding social democracy. So now I would like to give Miss Christine has an opportunity to give us a deep insight regarding the issue neoliberal. You may take the floor now, Miss Christine. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Anna. First of all, I totally agree on Miss Ladia's point of view regarding the social democracy issue just now. As for me, I actually have been interested on the neoliberal issue for quite a long time. So I'm glad we have thought on this issue during this meeting today. We have understand what is neoliberalism as what Anna shared just now, right? Generally, this neoliberalism has a lot of critics. Critics says that monopolies are a frequent neoliberal grip. In Western countries, the implementation of neoliberal policies has corresponded with a growth in wealth and income disparities. While competent people may earn more, low-skilled employees are more likely to see their pay stay the same. These policies tend to prefer the formation of monopolies, which raise corporate profits at the expense of consumer benefits. Not liberalism's free market approach to public service erroneous, but it has also led to huge financial instability, inequality, and globalization. Thus, when monopolies arise and community is reluctant to tolerate them, nationalize the enterprises. However, the government economic supply is limited. The structure, it can only nationalize a few what we call that only a few industries. Similarly, the character of the item must be examined before nationalizing. It may be nationalized immediately if it is of public utility. Otherwise, it may be forced to wait until the sources are available for nationalization. Okay, now let's talk more on globalization. Neoliberalism's emphasis on economic efficiency has promoted globalization, which critics contend violates sovereign nations their right to self-determination. Critics of this issue believe that movements push to replace government-owned enterprises with private ones diminishes efficiency. They contend that while privatization may increase productivity, the may not be sustained due to the world's limited geographic breadth. For your information, this policies is known to be anti-democratic, can lead to exploitation and social injustice, and may criminalize poverty. Hence, it is vital in this case to have nimble leaders, I mean like agile leaders who can move with the change or ahead of it. With a strong leadership, company can anticipate trends, create new projects, and define a distinct mission and vision. They can also encourage an open learning environment in which people feel free to question the status quo. Leader is the person who shape a company's culture. So indeed, they must be able to handle economic cycles, be comfortable with uncertainty, and lead a team in today's modern, unpredictable, and uncertain climate. I guess that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you for the excellent discussions or statement by Ms. Christine about the issue neoliberal and the issue 3. Next, Ms. Nurul, can you tell us more further about the issues of authoritarianism faced by industry relations and how to overcome these issues? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. From my point of view, the issue that authoritarian need to face in industrial relation is authoritarian government eventually stifle a society's advancement by limiting citizens' ability to influence the country direction. In addition, they will limit economic institution in the long run by impeding inclusive political institution. Other than that, authoritarianism creates an issue such as inviting rebellion in society. This is because corporate executives that are perceived as authoritarian are commonly viewed as dominating, bossy, and micromanaged by their employees. When the government adopts this dictatorial manner, insurrection results as the general public has no power to prevent the changes from occurring. It is not uncommon for these centralized government structures legislation to dictate how people should live, think, and work. As a recommendation for these issues, the authoritarian government should be transparent about the terms and conditions of policy changes. This means that the authoritarian government is responding to contemporary challenges and global trends concerning a more competitive environment, decentralization of labor management negotiation, a more flexible wage structure, labor allocation, and workshop organization and industrial relation. By doing so, it will help to strengthen the state, nation, or organization itself to others by advancing the interest in its touch. That's all from me. Thank you.
Well explained, Ms. Nurul. Thank you for that. I think we have covered the main issues first under issue 3. However, it would be best if someone can rephrase all the main points so that it can remind us again what the issues are all about and what has been discussed so far. And not only that, it also can benefit to us to really understand the issues effectively. So, Ms. Farida, do you mind rephrasing the issues? And if you have any additional recommendations on how to cope with the issues that had been stated, feel free to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anna. I would like to add a few recommendations. First is strong and stable union in the authoritarian governance country. This is because an authoritarian government is one that will power and implement policy without the agreement of the people over whom it controls. So to protect labor in that country is the union themselves. Good industrial relations require a strong and stable union in each industrial firm, as a major portion of the employee will almost certainly not honor the agreement with such a union. As a result, strong and stable union must exist in every firm to represent the majority of us and negotiate the terms and conditions of service with management. Second, in terms of neoliberal governance, both management and labor should contribute to the creation of an atmosphere of mutual collaboration, trust, and respect. Management should take a progressive stance and acknowledge employees' rights. Similarly, labor unions should urge its members to work for the organization's common goals. Both management and the union should have the trust in collective bargaining and other peaceful conflict resolution procedures. In practice, organizations intend to resolve collective action problem. Application of this neoliberal framework has focused attention on the relative influence of ruler versus power in formalized setting, as well as the role of international organization as an agent of change. So, in conclusion, related to this topic, industrial relation has evolved into one of the most delicate and complicated issues confronting modern industrial civilization.
Without worker, collaboration and good relationship, industrial growth is impossible. As a result, it is in everyone's best interest to establish and maintain positive working relationship between employees and employers. In today's global society, multinational firms and organizations operate in a variety of nations. It is critical to comprehend a country's rules, regulation, process, law, local and national policy, and social and cultural attitude toward industrial relationship components and ways to dealing with and resolving industrial relation conflicts. It contributes to the smooth operation of MNC as well as the creation of an atmosphere of trust, harmony, and industrial peace, which is critical not only for the growth and probability of any firm, but also for the development of economies. So that's all from me, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Farida, for your willingness to rephrase it again and for the additional recommendations given to which give us extra knowledge today. And I think we have discussed everything regarding issue 3. So is there anyone who would like to say something or add another information regarding issue 3?
No.
All right,
No.
thank you for the response. Then it brings us to the end of our discussions. Thank you for your cooperation and goodbye.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.